In the previous video we showed how you can automatically create a table based on the definition of a dialog, and when you do that, Alpha 5 then goes ahead and automatically binds the dialog to the table that you just created. So you can see now if we go to this command, which is what you would normally use when you want to bind your dialog to existing tables, you can see now that everything has already been filled in for us based on the table that we created. So you can see that the dialog is bound to an alias called custom, which has a physical name of customers. There's our connection string. It's a SQL database. The table has a primary key of customer ID, and it's an auto increment field. Then we can go here, we can see that all of the controls in the dialog are bound to the table alias customer and the physical field, first name, last name, company, etc. So this is where if I, for example, were to go and change the name of a field in the underlying table, I would come here and I could edit the binding. This is an overview of the table binding. I can also go to an individual control over here, for example, last name, and then scroll down here to the data binding section, and I can see here that this control is bound to the table alias customers and to the field called last name in that table. So this is just a single field at a time view of the data binding, whereas if I go back here and press this button, I get an overview of all of the controls. But now that the data binding has actually been set up, I can use server-side action scripting to actually write the code for me that'll do the data entry into the underlying table. So when I press the submit button right now, what I would like to do is enter data into the table that I just created. So I'm going to go now to server-side events, and the after dialog validate event is the event that fires after the after all of the data in the dialog component has been validated. So I already have an event here which I'm going to go ahead and just delete so we can start fresh, and then I'll press action scripting, and I'll choose the save submitted data to table action, and then I need to just give this action some unique name. So I'll say save my data. The actual name that you give here is completely irrelevant, and then that brings up the builder. So after the data has been saved, you can choose to redirect to another page, which will often be the most likely choice. So you'll enter some information and then go on to the next page in your application, or you could stay on this component and enter another record, or you could edit the record that was just submitted. So I'm going to choose this action right now, and I'm going to also turn on display debugging information so we can actually see what happened. Use transactions is a very powerful option, but it's only meaningful if you're doing data entry into multiple tables at once, and in this case we're only doing data entry into a single table. So there's no point in choosing that option right now. So let's go ahead now and click OK. And then if I wanted to go after the event and then just edit this action, I can just go here to say put my cursor anywhere in the field, go to action scripting, and now I can say edit action, and that'll bring up the builder. If I go there and say view XBasic, it'll show me the XBasic code that this action will execute. I could go here and convert to XBasic if I want to modify the XBasic myself. And then finally we can also look here at show variables exposed by this action, and this shows that this action is going to expose a variable called RTC flag record was saved. It's also going to expose some additional information over here, and this would be useful to know if you want to basically use these variables in your own code after this action has been executed. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video.